A show about luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. Turns out your quote-unquote made in Italy luxury handbag might have more ties to Chinese factories than to Tuscany. Thanks to viral TikToks from Chinese factory workers, the internet is now...
The Hermès fantasy has finally gone up in flames, and no amount of polished crocodile leather or overpriced PR spin can fix this disaster. It's over. Game, set match. The very luxury house that swore its legacy was hand-stitched in Paris just got exposed for running a dirty secret. And the bombshell? It was dropped by none other than Doillon, the daughter of Jane Birkin herself.
Against China add up to 145%. That is on top of, that is including the existing 20% tariffs that were already imposed on the country.
Work with the manufacturers identified in the online videos, and we urge consumers to be aware of potentially counterfeit products and misinformation. Authentic Lululemon products are only available for purchase
The second her legal team walked in, Hermès spiraled. We're talking full-blown meltdown panic mode on. And guess what word started creeping into the boardroom? Bankruptcy, not gossip, not rumors. This time, it's looking like the next press release. And let's be real, nobody's shocked. Hermès made billions selling the illusion of class, but the truth? That luxury dream was built on Jane Birkin's name without even cutting her a check. That's right, Jane didn't earn a penny in royalties, not a single dime. Her name became a golden stamp for status-hungry elites who probably couldn't name a single one of her songs or films. Meanwhile, Hermès laughed all the way to the bank, flipping bags that cost under $2.00 K to make for upwards of $30,000 all while parading their craftsmanship fairy tale like it was gospel. Please. But karma came and Lou came with receipts. She didn't walk in with a quiet lawsuit, she came for the jugular. Hermès may have the warehouses and marketing teams, but Lou, she holds the spirit of the Birkin.
$23,000, but Guangzhou price $600.
Picture the scene. Hermès execs sipping lattes, prepping for another influencer collab, and bam! Lou slaps down a one-page legal bomb. Shut down Birkin production or see us in court. No polite phone call, no negotiations, just decades of fury. Fury every time her mother's name got flipped into profit, while shady secrets stayed tucked behind glamorous ad campaigns. The result? Pandemonium. Ditchers were told mid-seam to drop everything, calendars ripped off the walls, boardrooms locked down, phones confiscated, no more hiding. Luda didn't just challenge Hermès, she cracked them open like a vintage clasp, and when she said enough was enough, the whole operation froze in place.
Hermès boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, Hermès only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Nuti from Italy. The second is Weinheim from Germany, and the third is Haas from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost $450.
They earned every second of this humiliation. Hermès never honored Jane Birkin. They transformed her into a human brand logo. Without the respect, they priced her name into the stratosphere, sold exclusivity as a flex, then quietly outsourced production far from their so-called Paris ateliers. And guess what? The mask is off now.
One piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? And next, a thread. And of course, for Hermès Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil au Chinois from France. This is actually the Rolls Royce.
Lou lived in that hypocrisy. She didn't just whisper about the injustice. She torched the whole illusion. This wasn't about a copyright clause or polite legal red tape. This was a daughter rising for her mother's legacy and telling the world Jane Birkin was not a handbag. She was a woman, an icon, a life. And Hermès, they commodified her soul. No press team on earth could spin that. When the name behind your best-selling product says stop, you stop. Or you crash.
Thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel. For one piece of bag, the hardware will cost 150 USD. The edge oil.
Lou stepped in, the cracks had already started to show, courtesy of a TikTok bombshell. Yes, TikTok. A quiet video dropped by a calm worker in a Chinese factory blew up the entire narrative. No dramatic music, no glam filter, just one voice explaining how the real cost of a Birkin was $1,400, 0 cents. Let that sink in. $1,400, 0 cents. For a bag they sold for nearly 40 grand. And this wasn't a fake. This was the real Birkin, just not made in France. That viral video broke the illusion. Viewers were shook. Experts doubled down. The whole made in France fantasy started to rot in real time.
Why Hermès will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us. Because for our bags, we use exactly the same material, same leather, same hardware, same.
The stitching, outsourced. The seal edge oil, imported. The lambskin, minimal. The labor, $10 an hour. The total package, a luxury lie. TikTok handed Lou's legal team the ultimate weapon. Proof that Hermès wasn't just marking up leather, they were selling a false identity. They called it heritage fraud, and baby, they weren't wrong. The truth, Birkin was built on branding, not legacy. And over in France, real Hermès artisans were livid. Some staged walkouts. Others leaked emails, messages, videos, all showing a chilling reality. The cozy French workshops we saw in ads, theater, a glossy facade to cover global outsourcing and cut corners. Once that story hit, the whole Birkin tale fell apart.
The difference is, one, we don't have the logo, so we don't have to pay so much amount of money just for that logo. And second, our human resource is much cheaper. This is why this bag from our factory only cost you 1,000 USD, but even better quality and
And oh honey, it gets worse. The lawsuits didn't just stay in France. Hermès found itself drowning in legal chaos across 2 continents. Antitrust lawsuits resurfaced in the US stronger than ever. And this time, they had backup. Turns out, Hermès wasn't just hiding production locations. They were allegedly manipulating customers, forcing them to spend thousands on other products before they even got a chance to buy a Birkin. Yup. It wasn't enough to have money. You had to play the Hermès game, get cozy with salespeople, prove your loyalty, kiss the ring. And still, you might walk out empty-handed. This wasn't exclusivity, it was a luxury con, and people, they were done playing. Meanwhile, Hermès exec Nicolas Pisi got slapped with a billion-dollar lawsuit of his own, allegedly walking back from a major share transfer deal. Investors panicking, suppliers demanding upfront payments. The brand's financial lifeline shrinking fast. When finance analysts start whispering bankruptcy, you know it's not just bad press. It's a brand circling the drain. Scarcity used to be Hermès' strength. Now it's a curse, with production frozen and lawsuits stacking up like Birkins at a sample sale, the sparkles gone. Not because the bag changed, but because the truth did.
The world, Gucci, Prada, Coach, Louis Vuitton, you name it. But for this, I am not proud, because we were only making our wage.
Vuitton and Chanel will hate me if I tell you this, revealing the secret behind big brand. Let's go! Hang Long from Singapore, or Doillon for their lambskin from France. Tannery Haas, Italian Tannery, Fight. Labri Tecna from Italy. Guess where I found all those secret suppliers? All in AP.
Once the myth cracks, every thread tied to it unravels. Hermès tried to smile through it, but the court was having none of it. Paris slammed down a brutal ruling, demanding proof of every single seam, every so-called French stitch. Lou's team, they didn't flinch. They demanded a full audit, every overseas factory, and then they dropped the nuclear bomb. A total asset freeze. Yes, locked accounts. Seized inventory. Legal chokehold. Hermès couldn't blink without permission. Stylists followed fast. Industry group chats lit up. No more Birkins. Celebs fled. Kim K, Cardi B, Drake suddenly ditching their signature orange boxes. Resale apps went into meltdown. Birkins hit the market like clearance bin leftovers. The Golden Idol crashing hard. Fashion's brutal. One wrong step and the whole brand turns toxic. Hermès is learning the hard way. And guess what? It's about damn time. What happened next? Pure carnage. Lou's team didn't just want an audit. They wanted Hermès flipped inside out. Every file, every secret drawer, every whisper whisper of shady outsourcing brought into the daylight. You don't demand that kind of probe unless you already know the skeletons are there. And then came the fashion industry's deadliest blow, the style blackout. Top stylists, the real puppet masters of celebrity image, declared it. No more Birkins. Suddenly it wasn't cool to carry one. It was embarrassing. The same influencers who once begged for an orange box dumped them like yesterday's trend. The moment Kim K and Cardi B dropped them, the dominoes fell. Loy, Goyard. Suddenly, every celebrity pivoted. Hermès became fashion roadkill. The resale market in flames. Apps flooded with panic listings. Bags that were once investments now looked like liabilities. The luxury elite weren't just embarrassed, they were running scared. And inside Hermès headquarters at 24 Rue du Faubourg Saint-Honoré, the smell of panic was stronger than any perfume they ever bottled. Leaked texts from the CEO said it all. The cash runway is dangerously short. Translation, they're broke. Artisans are rising up. They want transparency, they want profit sharing, they want answers. One even threatened to live stream a full Birkin being assembled in Asia. That's not drama, that's devastation. For Hermès, it's apocalyptic. To stop leaks, Hermès posted literal security guards outside sample rooms, phones out, doors locked. This from the company once known for silk scarves and quiet luxury. Now they're in lockdown, fighting off Instagram like it's a courtroom subpoena. It's giving desperation, it's giving guilty. And it's not a stretch anymore. Bankruptcy is the word ringing louder with each day. What's the fallout? Waitlists? Gone. Deposits? Trapped in legal limbo. The lifetime spa treatments promised for those exotic skins? Candled. All those whispers about being part of an elite club? Poof. Gone. And rival brands? Circling like vultures. They're eyeing Hermès loyalists, ready to scoop them up with price hikes and new exclusives. This is war in the luxury world, but beyond the fashion drama, let's talk national pride, because Hermès isn't just a brand. In France, it's a jewel, a crown, a cultural icon, and now that crown is cracked. The luxury house that once stood for timeless elegance is collapsing under the weight of its own greed. Let's be real. Hermès got greedy. They wanted hyper growth, so they took shortcuts, hid the truth, and wrapped it in couture. And then Doillon, grieving daughter, proud legacy holder, came in and didn't just shake the table, she flipped the entire. Now Hermès is scrambling while the fashion world rewrites its rules. The Birkin isn't the crown jewel anymore, it's the cautionary tale. And Lou, she's not just a daughter avenging her mother, she's become the face of a movement. A movement that's done being lied to by brands who sell authenticity and deliver cheap tricks. A movement that sees through the gloss and wants truth.